Hey, what's up and how's it going all MRBers? I am Mike McRock for the McRock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show, and right now I'm about to give you my review and the results of a really good episode I thought on NXT from the Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. You know what? I really absolutely enjoy it when you have a big Bulgarian brute, a 300-pounder like Alexander Rusev, taking on a smaller guy, a Lucha Libre style guy like Sin Cara. It really creates a good match. Those two styles mesh very well. You have, like I said, the Sin Cara with the Lucha Libre background, and you have the big Bulgarian 300-pounder with the Muay Thai background, and those two I think worked really well together throughout that match. And I also pay attention to the little details as well, such as Alexander Rusev's new music. And this is music that I feel has a better feel to his character, because the music he used before didn't really feel like, something that really stood out to his character. Now with this new music he has, now it feels like he is this big, dominant 300-pounder coming out and just destroying everything. And when you hear that music and his voice before it, shit is going to hit the fan. And that's basically what happened between the way he dominated Sin Cara throughout this match. And like I said, the little things matter. I like how before he applied his finisher, he signalized his finisher before he applied it, so you get the fans behind what is about to come. And after he won the match with the accolade, you notice for a second he looks at his hands. Just for a second, the little things matter. And to me, this showcased how dominant Alexander Rusev is, and how he works well with smaller guys that have that high-flying background. I think that match was a good way to kick off NXT. What came after that was a Divas match. It was Emma versus Alicia Fox. And the only issue I had with this match was Tensai on commentary. How he was just overexcited with the bubbles in the Emma dance. Dude, just calm down. You're on commentary. Just call the match. Don't get overexcited. It just don't look well for a big 350-pound guy on commentary doing all that wacky fun stuff. It just feels very uncomfortable. So don't quit your day job there, Tensai. Just keep doing what you're doing on commentary and you'll be fine. And I thought, throughout that match, here I'm thinking, when divas on Raw and SmackDown come down on NXT to help out the divas that want to be brought up on Raw and SmackDown, I think they're utilized a lot more better and believable on NXT than they do on Raw, because to me, it feels like the pressure is on them when they're on the flagship show. It's 3 hours and they're in front of at least 16,000 people and think, okay, I got to put on a show. I got to, showcase what I have, and they ultimately fail. But on NXT, when divas like Alicia Fox and Summer Rae and Natalya are on, I think that the pressure is not on them as much, and they perform better in the ring. And that's what I got out of this match. When Alicia Fox was wrestling throughout this match, I think that the way they use those type of divas that are on Raw SmackDown become more better wrestlers on NXT. And this was basically Alicia Fox jobbing to Emma, where Emma goes over to help her build up to gain momentum going into the NXT Women's Championship match. And now, by this time, you know now Emma is now brought up on Raw, SmackDown, and main event. Because, you know, we saw little snippets with her and Santino Marella and Fandango and Summer Rae. So, you know what you're about to get going into this match with Paige. You know, it's more than likely that Paige is going to come out victorious in this match so that Emma will be the one that will be brought up on Raw and SmackDown. Now, what happened after this match was that we had Summer Rae, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte come out and attack Emma after the match for no apparent reason. And then out came Bayley and Natalya to save the day. And to me, I didn't feel like that was necessary for the aftermath after that match. I would have rather seen Emma have her match, go over, cut her promo, dance, and leave. That's what I wanted. And to me, adding that layer of all the other divas coming out, to me, really wasn't necessary because they have their own story going on and they just need NXT, when it comes to the Divas division, needs to concentrate on one story at a time and not put two stories together. So, and as I say that, we see divas like Sasha Banks, Summer Rae, and as well as Bayley and Natalya for the past 3 weeks on NXT. So at least give them a week off for Emma to have the last word in her match and to have her be the one that closes off that segment. Instead, they get this mixed mash of all these divas going at it on NXT. I would have rather waited to see next week from divas like Natalya, Bayley, and the BFFs. That's the only issue I have when it comes to the Divas division on NXT. After that, we saw a match between Sylvester Lefort and Mason Ryan, and that match was over before it even started. It was only at least a minute or two long, where Mason Ryan just cleaned house on Sylvester Lefort, gaining the win 1, 2, 3. And after that, we saw Sylvester Lefort backstage, where he says that I will get revenge and that I won't work with Mason Ryan anymore. Now, to me, NXT missed a really good opportunity for a good story on their show. How I would have booked that match is have Sylvester Lefort cheat to win over Mason Ryan, and then Mason Ryan becomes his client, because that was the added stipulation to this match. And with that being said, you can have Mason Ryan do Sylvester Lefort's bidding, do his own personal chores like getting the groceries and carrying his luggage and folding the clothes, stuff like that. I would have liked to seen snippets of that between those two guys, and also have Mason Ryan come out and target baby faces on NXT. And as I say that, have Sylvester Lefort tell him who to target. And as that would be going on, you know, there will be a point where, you know, you break down Mason Ryan week after week after week until he just won't take it anymore, and then he takes it out on his manager, Sylvester Lefort, and would have probably created a better reaction from the crowd, because to me, when Mason Ryan won the match, the crowd kind of didn't resonate with his win, and I think if they gone that route of Sylvester Lefort going over and doing the whole lackey storyline, Mason Ryan being Sylvester's heavy, that to me would have created a better build-up for Mason Ryan and Sylvester Lefort as single individual superstars on NXT. Moving on, we get a little promo from Aiden English, how he talked about Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy and how great it felt to target a guy in a wheelchair. And they're doing things right now with Aiden English coming off as a heel on NXT, and he also briefly talked about his match upcoming with Tyson Kidd. We get to the match, and we see Aiden English, to me, is getting the reaction that he's supposed to get. He's getting a lot of heat from the fans. The way he sings now, instead of ending off with the WWE, he just ends with how he is in love with himself. And to me, those things work well when it comes to Aiden English developing his character. It suits him. And throughout that match, to me, Aiden English, when he pulls off his wrestling maneuvers, it comes off as real gracefully. The way he sells his suplex, it feels like it's really graceful, and it's old school, and it's really clean. And those little things, while Aiden English is wrestling, works for his character. It really suits him. And the only issue I have is after the match, Tyson Kidd was poking fun. Now, basically what happened was that before the match ended, we have Colin Cassidy come out, and he put on Aiden English's scarf and his hat, just to get inside his head. And then Tyson Kidd capitalized and got the win over Aiden English. And after the match, we saw Tyson Kidd do that little thing where he takes his hat and puts it over his face. To me, that felt not face-like, because, it was just one of those things where, okay, here's a babyface, he gets a win, and now he's going to stick it to the heel. Why? That's something a heel would have done. And to me, that was a little out of character from Tyson Kidd, and I would just rather see Tyson Kidd have the win, and he leaves. Colin Cassidy comes in and just pokes fun at Aiden English, and you have that rivalry going on. And what's interesting is that I wonder how Enzo Amore is going to play out with this whole thing with Colin Cassidy and Aiden English. He's the guy in question right now. He's the guy in the middle of this whole thing between Cassidy and English, and I'd like to see how this is all going to play out when this rivalry ends. To me, that is going to be the most interesting aspect of this rivalry, is how Enzo Amore, how his role will be throughout this entire feud between these two guys. And then we get to the main event. Adrian Neville went one-on-one with Corey Graves. Now, I will talk about the match later on. Now, before I get to that, I will say this. Okay, NXT brings back Corey Graves. He's going to get a fresh start, right? Of course. He's going to have his quick one-on-one match last week with Camacho and go over clean. Perfect. Let's capitalize on that. No. Instead, what they do is have him job out to Aiden English. Seriously, NXT? That's the best you could do for Corey Graves. Have him return, have him win his first match, and then the week after he's jobbing out to the guy who's the #1 contender for the NXT Championship? Seriously? But with that aside, I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really well done. It was a good paced match. What happened was that we saw Corey Graves target the leg out of Aiden English. Adrian Neville, What happened was that he targets his leg. Adrian Neville sells the injury. And there's great psychology coming out of Adrian Neville throughout this match, how he sold Corey Graves targeting his knee so that it was almost impossible for him to apply his finishing maneuver, which he did, which he got the win, which is understandable because you don't want Adrian Neville losing and not looking credible going into a championship match in just a few weeks for the championship. So I can understand that, absolutely. And what happened was that after the match, you saw Triple H come out, and before actually Triple H came out, after Adrian Neville got the win over Corey Graves, you saw him trying to get up from his little knee injury. The way he's selling it was great. And to me, now, before I get to the final thing that happened, I will mention Corey Graves. Now, to me, Corey Graves almost felt like Randy Orton throughout this match, how he was slow, how he was methodical throughout wrestling with his opponent, Adrian Neville. How he would stop on his opponent, how he would do little things. But the one thing Corey Graves really needs to work on is his personality for his bad boy image with all these tattoos and his stay down tattoos on his knuckles. And to me, that's the one thing I would change about Corey Graves. Have his personality come out, shine through, so that he would come off as a better heel. Have him talk a lot more, cutting promos more, and do little things when he comes out as well. Just stick it to the audience and take the heat. Instead, he comes out, he walks with this very weird walk, and he comes through the corner, he looks at the crowd. And it's just very bland. It's very dull. So I think, in my opinion, Corey Graves really needs to work on his psychology. Now, after the match, we saw Bo Dallas come out. He was about to target Adrian Neville because he was vulnerable after the match, which is smart for a heel to do. So I like what they're doing with a lot of their heels on NXT, like Aiden English and like Bo Dallas. And what happened was that Triple H stopped him and said that in your championship match on February 27th, this NXT championship belt which he held will be suspended high of the ceiling, and it will be a ladder match. And I love how the audience reacted to it. It delivered a huge pop from the crowd in the Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. And now I'm really looking forward to this match. To me, that was a mark-out moment when Triple H made the stipulation of adding the ladder match. And when someone adds a stipulation when the rivalry is going to come to a close, I think that Adrian Neville will have his big moment. I could see him on the very top of a ladder and applying the red arrow on Bo Dallas. Have him have his big moment and also have him win the NXT Championship, because I think it's time for Bo Dallas to lose the championship. He's held the title for way too long, and now it's time for a change. I think Adrian Neville will be the face of NXT going forth. So what did you think of NXT? Did you see it? What are your thoughts on it? Comment below and let me know. And you can also follow MRB Wrestling Reviews on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and also hit that fancy subscribe button down below, and you can also rate our videos as well. And that was my review of NXT on February 6th, 2014. Even though it's technically aired on the day before on Hulu+. For the MRB Wrestling Review Show, I am Mike McRock Wilson. Get plenty of rest and always do your best.